All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the DFS Express, presented by Loudmouth MMA, the DFS Army, and MMAtoday.com. I am your host, the Daily Fantasy Sniper. This week we have UFC on Fox 29 from Glendale, Arizona. The main event is Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. In this episode, we go through every fight on the card, all 14 of them, breaking down DraftKings specific picks, taking pricing into account. At the end of the episode, I will do a sample tournament builder. Again, guys, I mentioned those three outlets who make this video possible. Please give them all support. Loudmouth MMA podcast. You can find them wherever you listen to podcasts: SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, DFS Army. Go there for all your daily fantasy sports content. Use the code SNIPER. You get 10% off VIP membership. And then MMAtoday.com, MMA-today.com has you covered for all the latest MMA news, covering everything from UFC, Bellator, Pancrase, KSW, etc. Great combat sports website. Well, let's get into this card, though. First up, Dustin Poirier is 8,400, taking on Justin Gaethje at 7,800. Got to have someone on this fight. I'm probably going to stack it in cash games. Should be full of violence. Should be a fun fight. Stylistically, matchup-wise, Gaethje has those chopping leg kicks. Jim Miller made Dustin Poirier's leg look like dog meat. That could happen here. Poirier tries to stay technical. He's frequently drawn out into brawls, which is Gaethje's game plan. The problem is Gaethje, it's hard to pick him because he's going to get hit a ton. Poirier is a really good fighter. The way they match up, I'll take the slight discount on Gaethje at 7,800. I think Poirier is going to get drawn out into a brawl. Again, I'm probably going to have both in cash games because it's so close and likely to score very highly in tournaments. This is pretty much an all-in fight. I lean Gaethje here as the pick stylistically, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if Poirier wins just because Gaethje's game plan is to get hit a bunch. But I'll take Gaethje for 7,800. Alex Cowboy Oliveira, 8,700. Carlos the Natural Born Killer Condit, 7,500. Bad break here for Condit in that he had Matt Brown. Matt Brown tears his ACL. I mean, good on Condit. He accepts his fight against Cowboy Oliveira, but bad matchup. Oliveira can get takedowns. Condit has never been able to stop them. Oliveira is very strong, can get a body lock takedown, throws hard, was just in a war with Anthony Medeiros, and that's really the only downfall here is he's taken this fight on short notice, and it's a quick turnaround. That's how Condit wins this fight, is that Oliveira just isn't recovered. I don't see it happening, though. Oliveira is just going to be too aggressive, too much, I think, overwhelm Condit. I'm not all in on this fight because of those intangibles, but I do like Alex Oliveira at 8,700. Israel Adesanya, 9,100. Marvin Vittori, 7,100. A lot of hype on Adesanya. I like the potential for an upset here against Vittori. Everyone has to take that first L in the octagon. You know, well, everybody except Khabib. Marvin Vittori, his gas tank is an issue, but he has good takedowns, decent ground and pound. And Adesanya, I don't think he can stop the takedown. Rob Wilkinson, who he beat in his debut, is a different animal than Marvin Vittori. Vittori is better all around. I think Vittori can find a takedown, get some ground and pound, potentially either get a ground and pound stoppage or take enough energy out of Adesanya where all that flashy stuff isn't as effective. So I like the odds here to pull off an upset. Again, don't fade Adesanya straight out because if he wins, he's going to score a lot of points. But my pick for the fight is Marvin Vittori at 7,100. Courtney Cast Iron Casey, 8,300. Michelle the Karate Hottie Waterson at 7,900. Interesting fight here. I've heard a lot of people on both sides. I started off hearing more people on the Karate Hottie. Now I've heard some on Courtney Casey. I'm going to lean towards Courtney Casey. She's much bigger than Michelle Waterson. She's big at 115. Waterson is small for 115. Big height and reach advantage. Waterson, that karate style, I don't know if she's going to be able to use it against such a long opponent in Casey. Waterson also has takedowns, but she's got a lot of takedowns from the clinch. Again, Casey might be too strong. She's also a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She did well against Randa Marcos on the ground. I just think it's a bad, I don't want to say a bad matchup. It's just one where I think size is going to play a major factor. Michelle Waterson's back is up against the cage, a few losses. I'll take Courtney Casey in a close decision for 8,300, just using her size, reach, and maybe a little bit of volume. Antonio Carlos Jr., 9,000. Tim Boetsch, 7,200. Unlike the last fight, this is one that I'm pretty confident in. Antonio Carlos Jr., he's my guy. He's one that I'm a fan of, so maybe a little bias there that I just want to put out there, but I like ACJ a lot. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is beyond world class. He's, all kinds of championships. And he fought in the Ultimate Fighter at heavyweight. Heavy hands that continue to improve. He outstruck Jack Marshman last time out. Tim Boetsch has had a little bit of a resurgence lately. I just don't think it's enough here. I think Carlos Jr. can get a takedown. Boetsch always has a puncher's chance because he hits so hard. But I think Carlos Jr. has felt heavyweight hands. I think he should be able to deal with Boetsch's power, get a takedown. I'm very high on Antonio Carlos Jr. this week at 9,000. Muslim Saliakov, 8,900. Ricky Rainey, 7,300. Two guys who are going to stand and trade. People are down on Saliakov. I'm wondering what his ownership is going to be because he lost to Alex Garcia. That was a stylistic nightmare for him. Garcia was able to get takedowns. Ricky Rainey's not going to do that. They're going to stand and trade. I think Saliakov's flashy attack will work here. It's a good fight for him. They're trying to get him a win. I believe this is a short notice fight for Ricky Rainey. All things point towards Saliakov here. I'm still working on my exposure there. He could be cash game viable as well. Either way, he's my preferred play, 8,900. Wilson Hayes, 8,600. John Moraga, 7,600. Tale of two guys going in the opposite direction. John Moraga ruined a lot of people's lineup, including my own, as when he knocked out Ali Bibliatov last time out. Before that, he won a fight against Ashkan Mokhtarian that he had been so bad recently. He was talking about retirement that I thought Ashkan might beat him. Clearly, I was mistaken there. Wilson Hayes just got brutally knocked out by Henry Cejudo. A lot of people are off of Hayes. I've seen some people picking Moraga. I'm not quite there yet. I know Hayes was just knocked out, but he has world-class wrestling. Moraga can be taken down. People are worried about Hayes' chin, but they're flyweights. If Hayes' chin is gone, I'll kind of eat that one. I'm not going to rely on a knockout from a 125er like I think Moraga would need. I think Hayes close the distance, get some takedowns, and gets a decision win. He's my preferred play, 8,600. Brad Tavares, 8,800. Christoph Jaco, 7,400. I believe there's tons of line value here on Jaco, and that's really all I need. It's a close fight. Neither guy have tons of output. I also think Jaco has more paths to victory. He probably could get a takedown. He could win on volume. These guys are really closely matched up. Tavares has looked good as of late. Jaco not so much, although he was beating up Hall before he gassed. I'll take Jaco because I think he probably wins the fight, or he's my lean, and it's a small lean. But the value here is huge because of the price difference in comparison. So I'll take 7,400 on Christoph Jaco. Gilbert Burns, 9,400. Dan Murray, 6,800. Trying to get Gilbert Burns a win here. Won't spend a lot of time. Burns does what Murray does better. Better grappler. Burns' gas tank is the issue. I don't think it comes into effect here. I think the UFC is trying to get him a win, and they do so here. He's a huge favorite, most expensive fighter, but he's the preferred play at 9,400. Laura Mueller, 8,100. Shayna Dobson, 8,100. Two unknowns, eight pro fights between them. What I have seen of both, Mueller's more aggressive. She trains with a better team. I think she could win on volume. Dobson has some power, looked okay against Ariel Beck. Just overall, just watching the tape, I think Mueller's better, but it's really hard to gauge because there is limited tape and limited fights. I like the volume and aggression. That's something I look for, so I'll take Laura Mueller, 8,100. Yushin Okami, 8,200. Diego Lima, 8,000. Another fight that's really tough to read. Diego Lima, terrible fight IQ, glass jaw. Yushin Okami down to 170. He's going to be big for the division, and that's ultimately why I'm going to pick him here at 8,200. He seems to beat guys he should beat, lose to everyone else. Also some chin issues. He's also very old. It's not very confident, but that it's more my take on Diego Lima. So I'll take Yushin Okami at 8,200. Ariane Villar, 9,200. Adam Wojcik, 7,000. Wojcik was taken down by Anthony Hamilton. Didn't look great in that fight. Did get a win. Ariane Villar, Olympic level wrestling, easy for me to say. he should just outclass Woschrick really wherever this fight goes. I think he might even be better on the feet. I don't think you'll see a lot of it. I think he takes down Woschrick, beats him up for however long he wants to, either gets a stoppage or a really dominant decision victory. He's the preferred play at 9,200. Matthew Lopez, 8,500. Alejandro Perez, 7,700. Lopez is one of my sneakier plays on this card. Perez is a point fighter. Lopez is an aggressive grappler who's shown decent hands. He's been in there with better competition. He's been in there with Rafael Assunção, Hani Yahya. I think he's just all around the better fighter. Perez has been in some weird fights, just odd ones that the multiple knockdowns, was knocked down multiple times, but ultimately won against Andre Sukumta. Really just weird fights. I don't think it's a point fighter like he is against Matthew Lopez, who's an aggressive wrestler. I'll take the wrestler every time. And I think Lopez might get lost in that salary range. I really like him quite a bit at 8,500. Luke Sanders, 9,300 against Patrick Williams, 6,900. Patrick Williams is huge for that division, but he has 3 minutes of gas. Luke Sanders, everyone seems to be down on him. I know he got that knee bar loss against Yuri Alcantara. Well, he was upset after dominating the first 2 rounds, got subbed in the third, and then got knocked out by Andre Sukumta, who has legit stand-up, but everyone's hopping off Luke Sanders here. It's just going to be hard to pay off that price tag at 9,300. You could get a little bit of leverage because I think he will be not popular in that range. Williams is in play in tournaments because 6,900, if he wins, it's going to be in the first 3 minutes. He's going to blitz, and then he's going to gas. So I'll take Luke Sanders. I think Luke Sanders' good movement is good enough to stay away and get a win. I'm not sure how highly he scores, but he is the preferred play at 9,300. Right, now jumping over to DraftKings for the lineup building portion of the episode. Again, I'm going to build a lineup for large field tournaments. I want to be aggressive when I'm looking for fighters. High upside. Don't want to skate by with low scoring decisions. Differentiate my lineup. Look to be a little different. Not play too much chalk. Also, with that, it's a good idea to leave some salary on the table to make sure your lineup isn't very popular, and if you win solo, take down the big first place prize instead of splitting with a bunch of people. In addition to this, I mentioned in the open, I'm going to start sharing this video with DFS Army in the VIP area, but along with that over there is my projected ownership. When I'm building my tournament lineups, I usually build between 15 and 20. Also some cash game rankings for VIP members. Again, use the code SNIPER at DFS Army, get 10% off. Check all that stuff out. But for this episode and this lineup build, I'm going to start with Antonio Carlos Jr. because he's my guy this card. It's one of those. I know I have some bias there, but I think he scores very well against Tim Boetsch. I'm going to go down and look for some underdogs now. And the two that jumped out at me as I was recording, Marvin Vittori at 7,100. I like the grappling upside, and Adesanya is going to be so popular. If he loses and Vittori wins, I think I get some really good leverage there. With that, I'm also going to take Justin Gaethje. I know it's going to be chalk, but Gaethje-Poirier, I really think the winner of that fight, because how their price probably ends up on the winning lineup. Gaethje, I think, maybe a little less popular. He is my slight lean to win, so I'll plug him in. Scrolling up now. I'm going to take Alex Oliveira at 8,700. I know I said a few times I don't want to eat too much chalk, but again, in this case, there's a ton of upside. I think he probably finishes Condit, and there's other places I can differentiate my lineup, like these last two guys I'm going to plug in that I kind of just decided on the fly. Wilson Hayes at 8,600 if he wins. It's going to be grappling based. The DraftKings scoring system loves grappling. And for that reason, same thing with Matthew Lopez, who I think will be underowned. And as I mentioned, that's sneaky play. So that's the tournament lineup we've just built. Antonio Carlos Jr., Marvin Vittori, Justin Gaethje, Alex Oliveira, Wilson Hayes, Matthew Lopez. That's what I have for you guys this week. Again, make sure and check out the sponsors of this episode. Follow me on Twitter at the DFS Sniper. Good luck in your contest. I will be on vacation next week. Bit of a break after that. So hit me up on Twitter. I'll be around for the next card. Just not going to post any of the usual content, but we'll be more than willing to talk fights, any advice I can provide. And thanks for all the support. Good luck in your contest. See you when I see you.